9. Opening parenthesis. IV. Where do they attain it? In the five-constituent becoming. Why? Because of the necessity for the succession of all the attainments. Cf. S. 4217. But in the four-constituent becoming there is no arising of the first jhana, etc. And so it is not possible to attain it there. But some say that is because of the lack of a physical basis for the mind there. Section 30. Opening parenthesis. Why do they attain it? Being wearied by the occurrence and dissolution of formations, they attain it thinking, let us dwell in bliss by being without consciousness here and now and reaching the cessation that is Nibbana. 13. Section 31. Opening parenthesis. How does its attainment come about? It comes about in one who performs the preparatory tasks by striving with serenity and insight and causes the cessation of consciousness belonging to the base consisting of neither perception nor non-perception. One who strives with serenity alone reaches the base consisting of neither perception nor non-perception and remains there. While one who strives with insight alone reaches the attainment of fruition and remains there. But it is one who strives with both. And after performing the preparatory tasks, causes the cessation of consciousness belonging to the base consisting of neither perception nor non-perception, who attains it. This is in brief. Section 32. But the detail is this. When a bhikkhu who desires to attain cessation has finished all that has to do with his meal and has washed his hands and feet well, he sits down on a well-prepared seat in a secluded place. Having folded his legs crosswise, set his body erect, established mindfulness in front of him, he attains the first jhana, and on emerging he sees the formations in it with insight as impermanent, painful, not self. Section 33. This insight is threefold as insight that discerns formations, insight for the attainment of fruition, and insight for the attainment of cessation. Herein, insight that discerns formations, whether sluggish or keen, is the proximate cause only for a path. Insight for the attainment of fruition, which is only valid when keen, is similar to that for the development of a path. Insight for the attainment of cessation is only valid when it is not over sluggish and not over keen. Therefore he sees those formations with insight that is not over sluggish and not over keen. Section 34. After that, he attains the second jhana, and on emerging he sees formations with insight in like manner. After that, he attains the third jhana, etc. Closing parenthesis. After that, he attains the base consisting of boundless consciousness, and on emerging he sees the formations in it in like manner. Likewise he attains the base consisting of nothingness. On emerging from that he does the fourfold preparatory task, that is to say, about a. Non-damage to others' property. b. The community's waiting. c. The master's summons, and d. The limit of the duration. Section 35. Opening parenthesis. A. Herein, non-damage to others' property refers to what the bhikkhu has about him that is not his personal property. A robe and bowl, or a bed and chair, or a living room, or any other kind of requisite kept by him but the property of various others. It should be resolved that such property will not be damaged, will not be destroyed by fire, water, wind, thieves, rats, and so on. Here is the form of the resolve. During these 7 days let this and this not be burned by fire. Let it not be swept off by water. Let it not be spoiled by wind. Let it not be stolen by thieves. Let it not be devoured by rats, and so on. When he has resolved in this way, they are not in danger during the 7 days. Section 36. If he does not resolve in this way, they may be destroyed by fire, etc. As in the case of the elder Mahanaga. The elder, it seems, went for alms into the village where his mother, a lay follower, lived. She gave him rice gruel and seated him in the sitting hall. The elder sat down and attained cessation. While he was sitting there, the hall caught fire. The other bhikkhus each picked up their seats and fled. The villagers gathered together, and seeing the elder, they said, "What a lazy monk! What a lazy monk!" The fire burned the grass thatch, the bamboos, and timbers, and it encircled the elder. People brought water and put it out. They removed the ashes, did repairs, scattered flowers, and then stood respectfully waiting. The elder emerged at the time he had determined. Seeing him, he said, "I am discovered." And he rose up into the air and went to Piyagu Island. This is non-damage to others' property. Section 37. There is no special resolving to be done for what is his own personal property, such as the inner and outer robes or the seat he is sitting on. He protects all that by means of the attainment itself, like those of the Venerable Sanjiva. And this is said. There was success by intervention of concentration in the Venerable Sanjiva. There was success by intervention of concentration in the Venerable Sariputta. Paisai 212, c12. Closing parenthesis. Dot. Section 38. Opening parenthesis. B. The community S waiting is the community S expecting. The meaning is, till this bhikkhu comes there is no carrying out of acts of the community. And here it is not the actual community S waiting that is the preparatory task, but the adverting to the waiting. So it should be adverted to in this way. While I am sitting for 7 days in the attainment of cessation, if the community wants to enact a resolution, etc., I shall emerge before any bhikkhu comes to summon me. One who attains it after doing this emerges at exactly that time. Section 39. But if he does not do so, then perhaps the community assembles, and not seeing him, it is asked, "Where is the bhikkhu so and so?" They reply, "He has attained cessation." The community dispatches a bhikkhu, telling him, "Go and summon him in the name of the community." Then as soon as the bhikkhu stands within his hearing and merely says, "The community is waiting for you, friend," he emerges. Such is the importance of the community's order. So he should attain in such wise that, by adverting to it beforehand, he emerges by himself. Section 40. Opening parenthesis. C. The Master's summons. Here too it is the adverting to the Master's summons that is the preparatory task. So that also should be adverted to in this way. While I am sitting for 7 days in the attainment of cessation. If the master, after examining a case, makes known a course of training, or teaches the Dharma, the origin of which discourse is some need that has arisen, I shall emerge before anyone comes to summon me. For when he has seated himself after doing so, he emerges at exactly that time. Section 41. But if he does not do so, when the community assembles, the master, not seeing him, asks, "Where is the bhikkhu so and so?" They reply, "He has attained cessation." Then he dispatches a bhikkhu, telling him, "Go and summon him in my name." As soon as the bhikkhu stands within his hearing and merely says, "The master calls the Venerable One," he emerges. Such is the importance of the Master's summons. So he should attain in such wise that, by adverting to it beforehand, he emerges himself. Section 42. Opening parenthesis. D. The limit of duration is the limit of life's duration. For this bhikkhu should be very careful to determine what the limit of his life's duration is. He should attain only after adverting in this way. Will my own vital formations go on occurring for 7 days or will they not? For if he attains it without adverting when the vital formations are due to cease within 7 days, then since the attainment of cessation cannot ward off his death because there is no dying during cessation, he consequently emerges from the attainment meanwhile. So he should attain only after adverting to that. For it is said that while it may be permissible to omit adverting to others, this must be adverted to. Section 43. Now, when he has thus attained the base consisting of nothingness and emerged and done this preparatory task, he then attains the base consisting of neither perception nor non-perception. Then after 1 or 2 turns of consciousness have passed, he becomes without consciousness, he achieves cessation. But why do consciousnesses not go on occurring in him after the 2 consciousnesses? Because the effort is directed to cessation. For this bhikkhu mounting through the 8 attainments, coupling together the states of serenity and insight, is directed to successive cessation, not retaining the base consisting of neither perception nor non-perception. So it is because the effort is directed to cessation that no more than the 2 consciousnesses occur. Section 44. But if a bhikkhu emerges from the base consisting of nothingness without having done this preparatory task and then attains the base consisting of neither perception nor non-perception, he is unable then to become without consciousness. He returns to the base consisting of nothingness and settles down there. Section 45. And here the simile of the man and the road not previously traveled may be told. A man who had not previously traveled a certain road came to a ravine cut by water, or after crossing a deep morass he came to a rock heated by a fierce sun. Then without arranging his inner and outer garments, he descended into the ravine but came up again for fear of wetting his belongings and remained on the bank. Or he walked up onto the rock but on burning his feet he returned to the near side and waited there. Section 46. Herein, just as the man, as soon as he had descended into the ravine, or walked up onto the hot rock, turned back and remained on the near side because he had not seen to the arrangement of his inner and outer garments, so too as soon as the meditator has attained the base consisting of neither perception nor non-perception, he turns back and remains in the base consisting of nothingness because the preparatory task has not been done. Section 47. Just as when a man who has traveled that road before comes to that place, he puts his inner garment on securely, and taking the other in his hand, crosses over the ravine, or so acts as to tread only lightly on the hot rock and accordingly gets to the other side. So too, when the bhikkhu does the preparatory task and then attains the base consisting of neither perception nor non-perception, then he achieves cessation, which is the other side, by becoming without consciousness. Section 48. Opening parenthesis. VII. How is it made to last? It lasts as long as the time predetermined for its duration, unless interrupted meanwhile by the exhaustion of the life span, by the waiting of the community, or by the master's summons. Section 49. Opening parenthesis. VII. How does the emergence from it come about? The emergence comes about in 2 ways thus. By means of the fruition of non-return in the case of the non-returner, or by means of the fruition of arahantship in the case of the arahant. Section 50. Opening parenthesis. IX. Towards what does the mind of one who has emerged tend? It tends towards Nibbana. For this is said, when a bhikkhu has emerged from the attainment of the cessation of perception and feeling, friend Visarkha, his consciousness inclines to seclusion, leans to seclusion, tends to seclusion. MI 302. Section 51. Opening parenthesis. X. What is the difference between one who has attained and one who is dead? This is also given in a sutta, according as it is said. When a bhikkhu is dead, friend, has completed his term, his bodily formations have ceased and are quite still. His verbal formations have ceased and are quite still, his mental formations have ceased and are quite still, his life is exhausted, his heat has subsided, and his faculties are broken up. When a bhikkhu has entered upon the cessation of perception and feeling, his bodily formations have ceased and are quite still. His verbal formations have ceased and are quite still, his mental formations have ceased and are quite still, his life is unexhausted, his heat has not subsided, his faculties are quite whole. MI 296. Section 52. Opening parenthesis. She. As to the question, is the attainment of cessation formed or unformed, etc.? Question mark. It is not classifiable as formed or unformed, mundane or supramundane. Why? Because it has no individual essence. But since it comes to be attained by one who attains it, it is therefore permissible to say that it is produced, not unproduced. This too is an attainment which a noble one may cultivate, the peace it gives is reckoned as Nibbana here and now.